We're going to talk about core desires and how it relates to tuning into manifestation. So some of you guys have heard me use this term before. Some of you haven't. I did a really great chat on it last year, probably a little bit longer ago than that. And I've again melded it together with a previous program, and I've created this exercise for you essentially. So we are going to dive into a little bit of a somatic practice and some journaling, and I'm going to just ask you to come back to this and have fun with it, because there's a lot of different pieces here, and maybe not all of the pieces are going to work for you, but some of them are. So I really want to encourage you to try them all out to see what does work for you. Okay, so this is going to piss me off. All right, so we've talked about daring to desire in the past. So one of the last chats we did was called, is this really hard to see? Can you guys see it? You can, okay. So we've talked about dare to desire in the past, and this idea of shifting from people, places, things, and stuff into manifesting our desired feelings. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you guys of that in case you haven't watched Dare to Desire since we originally did it. When we're calling things in, when we're manifesting, when we're connecting with abundance, when we're raising our vibration, we're doing it from a space of feeling, not from a space of something that's outside of us. Okay, so this is just your reminder that when we are talking about manifesting and calling in what we want, we are not talking about people, stuff, and things. Okay, so this is a list of areas in your life. You don't have to jot them down, but I do want you to take a really good look at them. And what I want you to do is I want you to consider how you desire to feel in these areas. How do you desire to feel in your lifestyle, in your home, in your relationship, in your spirituality? And I also want you to consider how you desire to feel about them. How do you want to feel about your community? How do you want to feel about your relationships? How do you want to feel about your mentality? When we start to break down these spaces in our lives and look at these two questions, we can really start to hone in and simplify to a point where we could get to a few words to describe what it is that we truly desire. And we can start calling it in, because we can get a lot more specific about the work we do to align with that feeling. And so this is one of the ways that I start to break those words down. You guys have probably heard, like, what's your word of the year? Which is like, it's fun, and it's all great in January when you're feeling all intentional. This is something that you can come back to monthly. You can come back to quarterly if you wanted to kind of break down that idea and really make it potent, because we can easily be like, I want to feel happy, and just say that and say that's it, and then move forward with it. This is an opportunity for you to actually get really deep and delve into all of the different ways you desire to feel in different areas of your life, and then begin calling things in. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick one area off that list to focus on for the next 4 weeks. So we're in a new moon right now. So now's a great time for setting intentions, for moving forward with our intuition. So come back, take a look at that list if you didn't jot it down, or take a screenshot, and pick one area of life that you want to focus on with this practice specifically for the next 4 weeks. So this practice that we're going to work through, it can be the only space that you use to work on that area of your life, if that's what you desire. But we're going to get really clear on it, and we're going to pick one area to focus on for 4 weeks. So I'm actually going to go back for 1 sec, because I want you to lean into each of these. Which one of these areas already feels like expansive, already feels juicy, already feels like, oh my gosh, yes, I feels real. Which one of these feels real? Lifestyle, home, your physical experience of life, your relationships, your community, your creativity. Which one feels real for you? That feels so real that it's almost tangible and you could almost like take a bite right out of it already. I want you to choose that area to work on for the next 4 weeks. Okay. All right. So the next step, once we are leaving behind people, places, and things, and we figure out what types of feelings we desire. You can do that for all areas, by the way. You can go through and you can figure, out exactly how you want to feel in all those areas. To get started, I suggest just doing one, and then you're going to move through tuning into manifestation through that desire. That is the purpose of this practice. That is what we're doing. So you might find, if you go through all of those, that there's only a couple of words that describe all of them. In fact, the more you can refine the list down to being one word per area of life, the better, because then you can really, really start to work with that desire. All right. And it doesn't get kind of like washed out with all the other ones. For instance, I want to feel happy, satisfied, and fulfilled. Okay. Those 3 words, they all kind of mesh together. They all kind of overlap one way or another. So I'm going to take all 3 of those words and I'm going to literally sit with them for 30 seconds and see what feels real in my body. Does happiness feel real? Does that feel like something juicy I want to take a bite out of? Or does fulfillment feel that way? Or does satisfaction feel that way? And chances are, if I go into that space and I feel around in my body and I just allow myself to try and conjure up those feelings, one of them is going to feel more real than the others. And that's the one you want to work with. The one that gives you a physical sensation, or a burst of imagination. Like when you think of fulfillment, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can think all of the ways that I could be fulfilled. But when you think of happiness, you're just like, yeah, happy. Like, then fulfillment is far more juicy, is far more real for you. Okay. So if you're getting stuck on words, that's just a way to go in and really figure out what's landing for my cells right now. Because if it lands for your cells, it's going to work so much easier for you. Okay. So tuning into manifestation to get what you want. Step 1, open to receive. This is a feminine embodiment exercise. If we are not open to receive, then we cannot receive. Science. We have to open up. We have to be willing and ready to receive in order to bring anything in. And so step one is opening ourselves up. So we're all going to take a moment, and I just want you to slowly move your body into what feels open for you. And just go slow. Don't just like lean back and spread your arms, but just like really, really lean into it. Really open up all of your cells. What does that feel like? And if you feel any resistance as you're moving into openness, just be with that resistance for a minute, okay? Don't push it out. It's there for a reason. Just be with it for a minute and see if you can move through it. See if you can stretch open beyond the resistance, okay? So just take a minute. Oh, and guys, I always recommend throwing our voices in there because that's just another way to open ourselves up. Nice big sigh. Ooh-wee. Does everybody just feel a little bit juicier? Just like a little bit more like, ladies, that is the femme. That is her, right? You're getting a little glimpse. This is your reminder to go watch The Key again. because that's what that feminine is that fucking opening and that just blooming and being ready to receive. Okay. So you have to be able to get yourself into this state in order to begin manifesting. And what that means is you have to practice on a regular basis. Step one is happening all of the time. When you sit down to do this practice, if that's the first and only time you ever take a moment to relax and to open and to just soften a little bit, well, then it's not going to be as potent. But if you take a little bit of time every day or in every moment to soften and open, you're going to be more receptive. All right. So go rewatch The Key if you haven't in a while. Step two, we're going to raise our frequency to abundance. And we're going to do this through the mind and the imagination. We often get stuck in our mind and our imagination, and we go in loops. And we go in loops that keep us bound to low vibrations, keep us bound to lack, keep us bound to scarcity, keep us bound to fear, greed, apathy, and all that other garbage. And so step two, yes, you can come to this practice and you can do it for a moment in time, or you can begin doing this every day to raise your vibration to that frequency of fulfillment. So this is about thinking abundant. Overcoming defeating thoughts with abundant mantras. It fucking is a pain in the ass at the beginning when you first start doing this. Okay. But doing this consistently coupled with step 1, 3, 4, and 5, eventually it just becomes reality. Okay. It just becomes what it is. Speaking abundantly. So really checking in with your language. How are you talking about money? How are you talking about wealth? I've said this before and I'll say it again. There's a few words that I don't use anymore. I refuse to use them. I will not use the word cheap. Nothing is cheap. Everything's affordable. That's what it is. That feels good in my body. When I say cheap, I'm like, it feels like, ugh, it feels like, I don't want to eat cheap. But if I say it's affordable, that feels good for me in my body. Maybe you have a word that feels better for you. And I encourage you to figure out what that is. For me, it's affordable. I'll also never, ever say that something is too expensive. Again, that feels so unattainable to me. If I say it's too expensive, it seems like I'm never, ever going to be able to get it. But if I say it's a large investment, all that means is I need to put more work in. I need to put more intention in. I need to put more action in towards getting it. So there's another one. I always say a big investment. So the third flip I wanted to share with you in terms of, speaking and thinking abundantly. So let's take this into that thinking space too. We're not just going to say affordable and then think cheap, right? We want to make sure we're bringing that into our mind as well. But when another one that I really have loved, that's really, really helped me in my life, those two, and this one, which kind of plays a role here, but I want to share with you anyways. It's the word sick. Being sick. I hate that. I don't like it. I like to use the word healing. I am now healing. I'm always healing. If I'm not feeling good or I'm sick, I am healing. My body is doing the work it needs to do to heal. Whether it means I blew my back out because I was working too fucking hard and didn't take a break. I'm not sick with a bad back. My body is healing because I ignored it. If I, get a cough or whatever, I'm not sick. My body is healing. It's doing what it needs to do to get rid of the bacteria or virus or whatever's in my body. My body is healing because that feels good for me. Right. So again, I want you to check in with the words that you're using, the words that you're thinking when it comes to abundance. But when it comes to anything, is there something else that feels better in your body that means the same thing? You know what I mean? So that's part of step 2. Next is acting abundantly. All right. So acting with gratitude. We know this. This is a simple one. It's the gratitude attitude. If we're practicing gratitude, then we are raising our vibration to fulfillment. Investments any investments that you make are part of raising your abundance. So think about that. This weekend was payday in the restaurant. And like, that's a big and beautiful bill for Kev and I, And so we celebrate that instead of being like, oh my God, I can't believe we have to pay out. I get pumped about it. I'm like, like, can't wait to help all these families. This is amazing. Like, tell me what you're going to do. Are you going to pay your bills? Are you going to go on a date? Like, literally with my employees, I celebrate with them too. I don't just keep it. I make sure that I'm getting excited about my investments. I'm getting excited about money, money that's coming in, money that's going out. Okay. Another point under here is to check your company. Who are you hanging out with? Where the fuck is their frequency? Because it's going to affect yours one way or another. Accepting challenges with grace is another great way when we're talking about raising our frequency to abundance. We are going to meet challenges. That's part of being a human. How are you meeting them? Are you meeting them with grace? Are you meeting them as like, okay, this is a part of my journey that I'm going to work through? Or is it like, oh, for fuck's sakes, the whole world is against me? Wow. And if it is that, that's okay. Go there and know that accepting it with grace is on that same spectrum. Okay. Next is leading with loving intention. You guys know what that means. Getting clear on your core desires and how they feel. Go watch Dare to Desire. It's, it's all in there. And then investing in your personal development. So I threw this in there as its own piece outside of the Act Abundant, because your investments could include paying your bills and doing the grocery shopping and yada, yada, yada. But also investing in your personal development is how you're truly going to raise your frequency to abundance. So challenge for you all. You guys all get an email every time your subscription renews in the village. Every single time. I want you to fucking celebrate that. Hells yeah, I'm investing in my personal development. Fuck yeah, I'm on a roll. It can be as simple as that. Okay. So moving through to, it's going very slow. All right, I have a little tool here that I use a lot before we came to the island. I haven't really used it since, but it might be helpful for you. So I wanted to include it. And this is tracking your abundance every step of the way. This is really, really getting close and comfortable with your abundance so that you can expand and magnetize more of it. This is broadening your ability to access those high vibe desires. Okay. And this is what that looks like. What tracking your abundance actually looks like. Oh yes, the pretty video. Okay. This was supposed to be a slideshow, not a movie, but it's okay. And there we go. Tracking your abundance. This is gratitude attitude. If you're looking for a gratitude practice and you're sick of writing down 10 things that you're grateful for, shift right into this, because this is a whole other area, a whole other practice that you can start to shift into the present moment with gratitude, because that's really all the gratitude is. Sorry, it's not all that gratitude is. It's the reason why we use gratitude when we're manifesting, because it brings us to the present moment right now. And it encourages us to really see what we have and the work that we've already done. It brings us into the present moment. So we're going to track money well spent, time well spent, and personal successes, because they are all shows of our abundance. So I did this just to show you what I mean. Okay, so you could do green dot, you could do dots, you could do shapes. Put this in your journals, put it on the whiteboard in your office, put it somewhere, track it for the next 4 weeks as you cultivate the desire that you have for that one area of your life. Okay, so this has nothing to do with that specific desire on the surface, but if you're working to conjure that feeling and you're opening up to receive and you're tracking your abundance, like you're just layering it all up to be this beautiful package to just deliver you what you're asking for. We need to take time in the present moment to become aware. So this is just a list when I created this a couple weeks ago that I had done recently in all of those areas. I signed up for Tai Chi. I've been going down to the creek daily. I cleared a big, huge vine off of the bush, and that might seem like, why is that like self-development? My body was just feeling so good, and I had wanted to do it all season, and I felt like just I felt so good. I was like, that is a personal success. Like it doesn't matter if it's a vine off a bush. I fucking felt like a warrior. And so I counted that. Paying staff. I had a late morning with Kevin, so I included that into that. Same thing, right? Made me feel really good. Felt like something I just wanted to cherish, right? So I'm putting it on this list. 7 months smoke-free, celebrating personal successes. And I had bought some new dresses, so that was some money well spent. So I really encourage you to do this too, in whatever way you can. Okay. Now we're looking at step 3. So we raised our vibration, and now we're going to practice attraction. Okay. So we're going to actually create a mantra that speaks abundantly to you. This is getting real specific about the desires you want to attract. Again, you can go back and watch Dare to Desire so you can really lean into those different feelings. And I will be posting in the village a whole list, an entire list of like, I think it's got like 100+ different feelings. So if you're having trouble just getting stuck on like happy, sexy, or whatever, like I've got a whole list I'll post for you. Okay. So getting very specific about what you desire and then creating a mantra out of it. And it can be very simple. It can be like, I am fulfilled. Period. End. It can be a very simple mantra, but I want you to practice it. I want you to create one, and practicing it looks different for everyone. You know, I can say it 100 times a day. You're not going to fucking do that. I can say, look in the mirror and look at yourself in the eye and say, you're not going to fucking do it. I can say, record it and listen to it for 10 minutes a day. You're not going to do it. Or you're going to do one of those things. So just figure out what works best for you. I don't need to tell you. Are you going to write it in big words on your mirror? I am abundant. Maybe that's how it works for you. You guys can decide. Okay. And then just want to say, I know you guys know this, but just for anyone else who watches this in the future, or anybody who needs a reminder, I am, not I want, not I'm looking forward to, I am. That's how you create a mantra. Okay. Creating visual manifestations of your desires. So making a vision board is under that kind of blob, or a digital vision board. These are really fun, a lot less messy. If you like vision boards, this might be a direction you want to go in. You can make one in Canva and then like have it be your phone background. So you're still having that interaction with it every single day. That was never anything that really worked well for me or something that I was in alignment with, but like if it's your thing, go for it. Vision board your life away. Create an abundance altar. This is more my jam. You know, really, that's my display, my visual manifestation. So again, it's going to look like whatever you decide an abundance altar looks like. Maybe it's got money on it. Maybe it's got water. Maybe there's specific colors that you include. Whatever feels abundant for you is going to go on that altar. Practicing your abundance tracking, right? This is looping us right back into step 2. Do the tracking. It works. You're attracting when you are tracking. Visualize receiving while cultivating the feelings of your core desire. So I don't know if you've noticed yet, but I've literally given you guys like 6 different things that you can do for each one of these steps that are all practices, individual practices on their own. This is so that you can figure out what works for you. It's not because I think you need to do every single thing. This one though, you got to do. You got to visualize yourself receiving what you want and feeling what you want. All right. This is not, I'm coming into this, I'm going to do step 1, step 2, step 3, like every day. Cultivate the feelings you desire. You know, the more we're sad and depressed, the more we're sad and depressed. The more we're happy and excited, the more we're happy and excited. It's been proven. You have a baseline. In order to bust through your baseline, you need to fucking practice. You need to practice so that your body chemistry is like, oh, we're going to shift. newsflash too, when you first start doing this, what's going to happen is you're going to start self-sabotaging, because you're going to start pulling yourself out of your equilibrium, out of your baseline. You're going to start pulling yourself out, and your whole cellular body's going to be like, no, bitch, you trained me to stay right here. All right. So you're a loser. Get back down here. Okay. So cultivating the feelings that you desire and noticing when things start to shift, that your mind is going to start playing tricks on you, and you're going to say, no, bitch, we're moving the baseline. Okay. Moving right along. I'm getting like all excited. I've got so many goosies. It's my favorite. I just love talking about this stuff with you guys. So again, picking that one area of your life for the next 4 weeks, using your simple mantra and coming back over and over and over again. Okay. Practicing that mantra over and over and over again, practicing cultivating those feelings over and over and over again. I mean, it does look really cool. They're like walking away. What an epic little video. Makes for the presentation to be really weird though. And come on. She done walking yet? I'm making her. Okay, there we are. Step 4, second last step, taking inspired action. Okay, we can do all of the mind and the imagination. We can do all of the work up until this point, but if we could just fucking sit back and wait. I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll come. I've never gone that route, but good luck. Good luck. I think that this is probably the most important step, but you need to do 1, 2, 3 first. You can't just jump to 4. You jump to 4, you're just completely missing the mark. But this is the step, right? This is the one that starts to put things in motion. This is cause and effect. We take inspired action and things are going to happen. It's just naturally going to happen. So inspired action can be keeping a journal, keeping a gratitude. This is inspired action. It's something that you're doing every single day. Doing what your intuition guides you to, even if it makes no sense. I've told you guys this a million times, like for real. What is your intuition saying? Are you moving in the direction with it? I'm going to go ahead and throw out this too. One of the chats I'm going to be recording is about intuition and ego. Okay. If you have any concern as to like what is what, your intuition is quiet and loving. Your ego is loud and controlling. Okay. So if you're ever like, is that my intuition? Is it yelling at you? Is it saying, is it trying to control your thoughts? Or is it saying, hey girl, check this out. Look over here. That's the difference. Okay. Jumping into any momentum that you create as a result of any action. So if you do this journal or you follow your intuition and all of a sudden there's some sort of momentum, like don't let it fizzle out. You want something to happen, fucking jump on that ball, ride that pony. If something starts to move, don't just let it move away from you, move with it. Go in that direction. All right. Spend time with your abundance altar every day. Again, this is an inspired action you can take. You can go ahead and build it and it can sit there and it can collect dust and then you can feel shitty because you got to dust it off. Or you can sit with it every day for fucking 1 minute and just get into that place, bring in what it is you desire to feel, make yourself feel it, because the more you practice, I promise you can do that. You can make yourself, we got to practice, right? Do it at your abundance altar if that's something that you create, okay? And then committing to your meds and magic, which you'll learn more about. It's all going to come down the pipeline. Some of you guys already know what that means. Basically, it means your self-care and your ceremonies and rituals. Okay, moving on to the final step, and then I will take questions. Oh, well, inspired action. What 3 specific action steps align with your core desire in that one area that you chose earlier. Okay, that makes no sense. I will rewrite that. But the idea is you picked an area, you picked a feeling. What 3 action steps feel good for you moving towards that? All right, step 5, Skeeter. Step 5 is like the fun part. Again, you can skip everything else and you can go to here, but you're not, nothing's gonna happen. And you can do everything else and you can skip this and things might happen, but like we want to have fun. We want to enjoy what we're doing, and we don't want to do all of this work and like shift and really start becoming the next version of ourselves and stretching into all of these places, get what we thought we wanted, and then feel like, because we haven't actually practiced having fun and enjoying anything. Okay, I did this, been there, done that. Don't fucking do it, okay? Because it sucks. It sucks so bad. Be like, oh my God, I got everything I ever wanted and I don't want any of it. It doesn't feel good. Why doesn't it feel good? I'm still in a place of really shifting my beliefs because I did get everything I wanted. And some days I wake up and I'm like, and I'm like, whoa, dude, my baseline like keeps stretching, buddy, because like open your fucking eyes. This is fun. Life is fun. So step 1, stop doing things you don't want, period. Now you all are going to go off into your lives and you're going to continue to do a whole buttload of shit that you don't want because it's the hardest thing for us to do. But I'm telling you, once you stop, not only do you feel better, but you discover that other people can do things. You don't have to do it all. And things will wait for you. Like, fuck, if you're tired and you need to rest and there's a sink full of dishes, like ask someone to do them or do them tomorrow. Who cares? Like, really, if you don't want to do something, don't do it. Stop saying yes to people when you really want to say no. That's a big one. Okay. So I'm inviting you to just play with this. You guys all know that I've shared the Virginius. I think her name is Michelle Canon. She is a big, big pusher of this. Stop doing things that you don't want. It's like a whole program of hers. And she encourages women to take one day to just say no. One day. I've done it. It's magical. I really do encourage you to do it. I pretty much live my life like this now. I don't do things I don't want to do. Like very rarely, I won't say never, but very, very rarely do I do things that I don't want to do anymore. And guess what? Everything still gets done. Like it all still gets done. There's things aren't piling up. It's like, it might be a little bit like, ooh, like if you just do it for one day, it might get a little weird because people might be like, whoa, wait, the fuck? Why aren't you doing anything? Like, why are you doing it? But if you continue to practice and give yourself that permission, it will get done. I promise. Equilibrium will come back into play. Have fun with that one. Again, this is the point of this step, is to have fun. So if it's stressing you out and you're like sitting back and you're like, is he gonna fucking do the dishes? I didn't do the dishes. Is he gonna do the fucking dishes? Like, waste of time. Don't do that to yourself. Okay, have fun with it. Only do what feels good and safe for you in every moment. I dare you. I fucking dare you. I dare you to do that. Okay, what feels safe and good for you in every moment? Move in that direction. Okay, what that means is that you are going to come face to face with some of your darkness, because sometimes safety means we have to move through discomfort. We have to move through something that's making us feel unsafe. Otherwise, we don't get past it and we're like, well, shit, I don't ever feel safe. And this is something that might happen for you when you use this as a touchstone. Well, fuck, what does feeling safe even mean? What does that feel like in my body? Fuck, I have no idea what that feels like. And maybe that's where you start. Maybe you start practicing feeling safe. You start practicing feeling safe in your body and in your mind when it's not needed, right? And so then as you begin to stretch and oh my gosh, wow, this is what safety feels like for me. To just like, this is what it feels like. This position I'm in, this feels like safety to me. And then I'm going to visualize, and safety for me, I've done this. Safety for me is resting my head on Kevin's chest. That's safety for me. And so I close my eyes and I visualize myself resting my head on his chest and looking up and seeing his beard and smelling him. And all of a sudden I fucking feel safe. Like my body is just, even right now, I just feel like, oh, I almost want to cry because I'm just like, oh, let me curl up and just melt right here. Nothing can harm me here. So practice finding what feels safe for you so that you can move in that direction in every moment, okay? Asking questions and not being afraid to get the answer, okay? Getting curious and having fun means we have to ask questions, and we can't be afraid of what the answer is going to be. We have to be willing to hear the answer, okay? Don't shy away from asking the question, because you have no idea what the answer is going to be, and it could literally be the exact thing that you needed in that moment. If you feel the urge to ask a question, ask the question. Don't hold back. Share your wins and fucking celebrate all your small accomplishments. Okay. I think this is one that we know that this is helpful when we're manifesting. We know that this is helpful when we're trying to figure out what we should do every single day to start raising our vibration, but we still don't do it a lot. So I'm just going to remind you that you can do this in the village. If you want to do it every day because you are going to raise your frequency and you're taking this seriously, and you're going to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that you can start to raise that frequency and attract those feelings, post in the village every day. Share your wins, share your celebrations. Maybe it's that you brushed your teeth today. Cool, awesome. I'll celebrate that with you because I know what it's like to not brush your teeth for literally weeks on end. No word of a lie. So, right? Let us celebrate with you, because if you put this out there and you celebrate your wins and we can all fucking cheer you on, guess what? Magnetize, expansion. Don't keep it to yourself. Celebrate with us, okay? So step 5, getting curious and having fun. And how can you make achieving your goal fun, satisfying, expansive, and joyful for yourself? How can you use all 5 senses to turn yourself on in every moment? And what I mean by turn yourself on, eventually you'll get to a point where, like, honestly, yes, the juicy bits go squishy squish. But until then, it might just be a little tingle inside of your chest or in your crown. It might be like a wave that washes over you. But how can you turn yourself on? How can you turn that spark on? How can you bring that wave on? How can you get the squishy squish in every moment? Okay, this is just a touchstone to come back to if you need. Oh, look, it's a little baby. Oh, he touched the weeds. Oh, so cute. I have so much fun. Oh. All right. Share in the village. Share in the village. This is like probably one of the most beautiful things that we have in the village, is that we get to celebrate with one another. It doesn't get lost in the bullshit algorithms with people complaining about all their shitty lives and a million advertisements. We literally just have our sacred space to go in and to be witnessed and to celebrate and to share. So do that, please do. And know that when you do, it's not, and I'm going to say this because I felt this way, you're not being like, look at me, I'm better than all the rest. You are encouraging other people to do it too. Okay, so please share your wins specifically, but share anything that you find while working this practice. And if you have anything that you want to add, maybe you find something that works for you that we should maybe add to the list for someone else. Okay, so we will